All right. Hey guys, welcome to today's lesson.
I like her like, hey guys.
Hey guys.
Hey guys.
All right. We're talking about the Populist Party. Okay?
Woo!
Woo! Okay.
Woo-hoo!
And it's not like that type of party.
Popular.
Okay.
That's from
Populist.
Wicked.
All right. Populist Party. Here we go. So, farmers' problem. So during this time, which is the late 1800s, early 1900s, actually more late 1800s, but farmers were having a lot of issues, okay? Crop prices were falling, okay? Everywhere around the world, people were competing with American farmers. They were beginning to sell wheat and corn, and there's competition. Because so many people were selling wheat and corn, the prices was dropping. And because of this, farmers had less money, and they were going further into debt. And this debt obviously makes them happy. They're having to put mortgages.
Who would they be debt into, though?
The people who they buy the seed and farming equipment from. Yeah, they just debt. They owe money. They can't pay it back. Any type of they had a drought or thing like that hurt them too. Railroad companies also were charging huge high prices to ship crops, okay? So they're basically saying, hey, you want to ship your good? Well, I'm the only railroad, so you have to pay me a ton of money.
Oh my word. You know what this reminds me of?
What?
This is literally an episode of Little House on the Prairie.
Oh.
He goes to the town because he's mad at the railroad people. Yeah. Oh my word, I bet he was part of this party.
And they might have talked about it, yeah. So the populists are extremely mad about this, well, we haven't got populists yet, but the farmers are really annoyed by this. They're in debt, they can't pay, and these railroad companies are basically using their monopoly, where they're the only ones who could transport the goods for bad. And they're caught charging them way more than was for their fair share to sell their crops to them. So their demands, farmers wanted a couple things. First thing, they wanted regulated railroads. They wanted them to stop charging such high rates. They wanted them to make sure that the government got involved and the government would tell how much the railroads could charge. They also wanted the dollar backed by silver. This is a little bit more confusing, but basically how it used to work is that for every dollar you held, the government held some gold that you could technically take your dollar, go to the government, and the government would give you that piece of gold and be like, this is how much your dollar is worth. But they wanted it on more silver because they thought that'd make more money and this inflation would help them. And they also wanted to have a single-term president and vice president, secret ballot, popular election for senators.
Okay, wait. So we do the secret ballot?
Things. Yeah, so secret ballot we do today, but back then it wasn't. You would you would basically write. You'd go to the voting booth, and whatever party you were voting for had a different colored slip of paper. You grab that one, fill out your info on it, and put it in the jar, and everyone could see who you voted for. Yeah, it was not secret. They also wanted a vice president and president to only serve one term. So instead of being 8 years, you could only serve 4 years.
Is the popular election of senators a thing?
That is a thing now today, yeah. Back then, how it worked is that your state would choose your senators. So you would elect your state, and then your state would choose your senators.
What do you mean you would elect your state?
So you elect your state representatives, your state, things like that.
Gotcha.
But they want instead that people vote, and each state votes for its senators, and that you have more direct access to the senators who voted in. And lastly, they want an 8-hour workday, and they want to restrict immigration. They don't like immigrants, so build the wall. Except they didn't care about a wall. They wanted to board up the Atlantic.
Why? Because they were cheap labor?
Yeah, they didn't like how the immigrants are coming taking their jobs. They're also racist, so there's that thrown in there too.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, fun. It seems like there's always racist everywhere.
Yeah.
8-hour workday. They also wanted that.
And they were having more than 8-hour work days.
Yeah, they're working longer, and that was mainly in the cities, but we'll talk more about that. So they want all these things.
But it was mainly farmers.
Yes. Different groups try to represent these farmer interests. There were the patrons of husbandry, and husbandry is when you take care of an animal. Farmers Alliance and Colored Farmers National Alliance, trying to get these farmers united into a political party kind of things. But the Populist Party, or the People's Party is what it's also called, is the first true real push by the farmers to unite and form a really strong political party that's going to actually influence immense power. It'd be very powerful. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that is the Populist Party. And you can see they start going out to vote and they start winning things. You can see the Populist Party
is what color?
It is the green here. So it actually starts winning some elections right off the bat. You can see Nevada, Idaho, Colorado, Kansas. And they get about 9% of the popular vote, which doesn't seem that much until you realize, that's two parties, that's a huge difference. If you can get that populist vote, that's a big thing. And each party wants that 9%, right? Because if you can get all the populists to join your side, that means you're going to have a huge lead come election time.
Because if the Republicans got it, they'd be over blue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Populist Party got 9% of the vote, and you can see many of their votes coming from this rural area right here. But they begin to gain some power in the election of 1892. In the election of 1896, the Democrats, so this is 4 years later, the Democrats were very wealthy. They were Southerners, supported low tariffs. The Northerners were wealthy. Southern African Americans were Southern African Americans, were also part of the Republicans. They were poor farmers, wanted high tariffs. So it's kind of the difference between the North and the South.
Yeah. What?
Yes, you just seem very entertained. So that was how the Democrats.
Super entertained.
And the election comes up, and the Populists decided to prove their chance by supporting a Democratic candidate. Okay, so they decide. William Jennings Bryan is a Democrat, and he basically goes to the Populists and said, "Hey, if you vote for me, I will try to push your issues. I will take on your issues if you vote for me."
And they know they're not going to win the big.
Yeah, they know they're not going to win the big thing. They only won 9% last time, but they do have some power. So William Jennings Bryan basically gets the Populist vote to be like, "Hey, you vote for me, and I will do what you want to do." And he says that he wants the silverback dollar and some other of their demands. However, he will lose the election, so it is an unsuccessful election on his part. Yes, they lose it, and the Republicans actually win the election.
Against who? McKinley?
Yes, McKinley. So McKinley is Bryan, and McKinley wins.
Wow.
However, it still showed the power of it, and we'll be looking at tomorrow is why the Populist Party attracted millions of supporters. Why did it become so big? Why were there hundreds of thousands of people willing to vote for this big third party? One of the biggest third parties the United States has ever had. Probably ever.
They don't have good luck with third parties.
They don't, but the fact that got to 9%, and it kind of, we'll see how it kind of changed American politics by the way the Democrats kind of had to change their policies to accept the Populists into them.
Yeah, I wonder if that could ever happen again.
Maybe, probably.
Who knows? Okay.
Brings us to
It's
Mrs.
that
Magera's
time. Tea time. Yeah, see my mug, it says sassy mom on it. Isn't that cute?
Yeah, very cute.
Okay, anyway. So today's tea. It doesn't really have to do with the Populist Party because it's really hard to find tea on the Populist Party. It turns out they just were farmers really just wanting to be a part of a group, and there they were. Anyway, so there wasn't a lot of tea on it. It was like, okay, pretty straightforward. But so I just decided to talk about farmers, okay? And so I used to live in Washington State, which is like, here's California,
You should know
Oregon,
is.
Washington State. Not Washington, D.C., that's all the way over there. Washington State. Anyway, very agriculture. Did you know that agriculture in America is the #1 employer out of all things?
Really? Interesting.
Yes, that is what a website said. That's what Google said. Anyway, and did you know that during the pandemic, farmers were making so many things that they had nowhere, and no one was going to eat out anymore, so they had to throw them away. They were having to burn it, like potatoes.
Kill animals too. They killed like 1 million pigs.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
You know, I know a farmer. Actually, he is a farmer's son. His name is Luke.
Oh,
Yes,
great
his name
story.
is Luke Gregg, and he's a photographer, really great. You guys should look him up on Instagram. But anyway, his family,
They're way sidetracked.
his family, they grow onions, and he thinks that they're better than potatoes. But that's when you learn it's okay to disagree on things. Because I like potatoes, but onions are
Okay.
cool too.
Well, that's the tea. Boy, that was
I didn't have any tea on the Populist Party, but respect
Did
the
you know
farmers.
that
Farmers are great.
The United States is the #1 exporter of agricultural produce. So it
Of what
sells
though?
more just anything that's grown. The United States.
Not
sells
even
the
like
most
Mexico
agricultural
though, because Mexico
No,
does a
not even close. The
ton.
United States has way more. I think like Russia.
Where do
or
we import
China
though? Everywhere.
Export. Like
Export.
everywhere, yeah. We export a lot of soybeans, a lot of corn,
Don't we also rice?
potatoes. What?
Isn't there a ton
Yeah,
of rice?
California,
California
remember,
has a
makes
ton
more
of
rice than
rice.
Japan, right?
I want to say it's,
that's
but
what they told us when we lived there.
I'm
But
not 1,000%
you never
sure.
know.
That could be a fact check situation, but there was a lot of rice fields.
There was, yeah. All right. Well, bye, guys.
You learned a
Have
lot.
a great day.
Bye.